very confidently say that I will never stop telling women that the world revolves around her. Because it does. I don't care who needs to get mad. If that is not the case, please get rid of strip clubs. Please.
But if we get rid of strip clubs and OF accounts, how would all the boss babes make money?
Stop telling girls to cover their shoulders because it might tempt the boys from learning. And for those sick men out there who find the need to rape, hunt women down, stop doing it. Hunt your own kind. Go hunt men. Starbucks, please take your DT, your symbol, out of your propaganda. Versace, please take Medusa, another mythological female creature, out of your logo. Men, please save up your money so you don't have to go to the clubs and buy bottles so you can attract other women. And for all of those few women out there that this message bothers, I'm sorry that you don't know your power, baby girl. But that doesn't stop me and other women from knowing ours.
So what is your power? Because you only mentioned naked shoulders, strip clubs, and like, I don't know, some other crap. Like, what exactly is your power? The power of seduction, the power of being a 304? I couldn't get it. And why does the world revolve around you? Because a Starbucks uses a woman figure for their logo? I just don't get it, man. Can someone in the comments let me know? Maybe I'm missing something, but with each passing day, I can understand these narcissistic entitled TikToks less and less.
Do you know how sometimes people talk about how it's kind of annoying that when women have specific jobs, they're referred to as female and then the job title instead of just the job title like their male counterparts? For example, female coach, female scientist, female engineer, female mechanic, etc. And it's grinded my gears before too, but let's look at why we actually do this. While it can feel like a gender bias, people feeling the need to specify that it's a woman and not a man, I feel that the real reason we do this is because we have gendered professions. Because those jobs are, or usually have been, primarily male-dominated, and because of that, we started to automatically associate a gender with jobs. For example, if you're talking about an electrician with someone, they'd probably say, oh, when's he getting here? And they would assume that it's a man unless you had already specified that it was a female electrician.
Yeah, because, and you just showed it, because 96% of electricians are male. So what's the problem in generalizing and assuming that you're gonna get a male electrician, you know, coming into your house? I don't see where is the problem. We've covered this woman before on the channel, and she really likes the mental gymnastics. She just wakes up and thinks, what can I be bothered at today? And she picks something and she just spends all day talking about it and filming TikToks about it. So today, I don't know, she's mad because, yeah, we should not call an electrician he because there is a 4% chance that it's a she. Let's keep watching the nonsense.
And they assume that because 96% of the time, yeah, it's gonna be a man. And this works the other way too, which is another reason why I think this is about gendering jobs. Think male nurse, male dancer, male nanny, male secretary, etc. Since we associate many jobs with a gender, since many of them are very heavily imbalanced. Some are more imbalanced than others, but regardless, it impacts how we perceive that job. So how do we fix this imbalance? How do we make it so we don't feel the need to tack on female in front of...
Why do we have to fix anything, man? Like, you know, women can choose to be electricians. Nobody is stopping them. Why should we or anyone have to fix anything? It's just how it works. It shows the interest of what genders prefer which jobs. It's not bothering anyone but you.
Of male-dominated fields and vice versa. We balance out the workforce. This goes so much deeper than just language. And it is possible to do. I think grade school teachers is a good example of a profession that we are currently working on ungendering. Grade school teachers are still predominantly women, about 80%, but we don't commonly clarify male teacher anymore. So if we push to further detach ourselves from gender norms, encourage children to follow their desired career paths regardless of their gender, stop gendering children's toys and clothes, didn't steer girls away from science and math.
Wait. What's with the toys now? The reason why cars are blue or red and why, I know, toy kitchens are pink is because, you know, little boys and girls like these toys. And that's why they paint them in the colors that usually attract, the two genders. It's not the other way around, okay? It's not that boys look at something blue and they say, oh, it's a blue toy kitchen, I want it. No, boys overall prefer to play with cars and action figures or whatever. And I know little girls prefer to play with toy kitchens and dolls or whatever. It's not the color that is making them want that toy. The color is there because the producers of those, toys have realized that mostly it's this group, it's this gender that are buying them, and they try to be more appealing towards the gender that usually, plays with these toys. It's really basic, and I don't understand why so many people bring this up, that cars should not be blue and dolls should not be pink, because that is somehow S3 exist or whatever. Strawman arguments.
Math or boys away from English and liberal arts. If we
Wait, what was that?
English and liberal arts.
Girls and women are systematically tracked away from science and math throughout their education, limiting their access, preparation, and opportunities to go into these fields as adults. Exactly, guys. There are people who are being paid so they can track away little girls from going into science. Didn't you know that? The reason there are no women in STEM is because apparently they don't want to be there. They don't want to work that. I mean, you make this whole video to try and make the point of, we should let people study what they want, but yet you are forcing women to study STEM because it suits your narrative. It's BS. No one is stopping you from pursuing these careers. Do it yourself if you want to increase the numbers.
If we did something about the STEM leaky pipeline and overall work to remove ourselves from this pointless, restrictive system of gender norms, we could balance out these fields in our lifetimes. And therefore, we would stop feeling the need to gender professions. Because if we're being honest, professions do not need to have a gender. To end on an uplifting note, women have equaled men in architecture schools since 2020. They still only make up 17% of licensed architects, but we're working on that. And women have outnumbered men in law school since 2015. So change is coming. We just have to keep up with it.
Well, I'm really happy then. Great to know. Let's continue with the nonsense, gentlemen. We're gonna watch a woman here. And apparently some guy told her, women choose who Fs, men choose who gets married. If you're not gonna be what a man wants in a wife, how do you expect to get married? Good question, honestly. A little backwards, no? And she says,
considering that marriage doesn't actually benefit women, I fail to understand why so many men think that's the goal for women.
Yeah, gentlemen. Marriage doesn't benefit women. Let's hear the arguments of why that is.
I made a post about how women don't benefit from marriage and the incels went crazy. In this video, we're going to go through all the reasons. But let's start here. The consensus from most men in the comments were that women do benefit from marriage through divorce. So they seem to be in agreement that the best part of marriage for women is leaving. If that were true...
No. Let me specify something, because we're going to encounter this along the video many times. This woman mixes traditional marriages with modern marriages all throughout the video. And so it's a little hard to understand what is the point that she's trying to make. But let me clarify this. Women do not benefit from marriage itself. They benefit from breaking it. And that's the part that you're missing. Women in today's day and age, at this point, benefit from breaking the marriage. Let's continue watching and we'll develop that further.
Were true, which it's not, I think that would make my point. Let's go through finances, child custody, and health. Is marriage worth it for women? The benefits mostly go to men. Currently, over 50% of households have a dual income. I read this as women are taking half of their own stuff. In those households...
Yeah, but you're missing the part where women date up. Women don't date, usually, for the most part, men who have equal or lower income than them. And that's where you get the numbers of all those men who share stories about how they lost a lot of things after divorce. So even though 50% of couples have dual income, men who are successful will get engaged with a cashier. They don't care about women's income, but women do. Women do absolutely care about income, and most of them won't date guys who have lower incomes. That is why when you get a 50-50 split, the woman is taking more than she ever provided. And I'm not even gonna start on the stereotype of, her money is her money, but your money is our money, which is also contributes to this.
Despite a dual income, women are still doing the lion's share of domestic labor and emotional labor.
Ah, yes, the emotional labor. That is what, personally, guys, that's what I most want in a marriage. A woman who can keep up with the emotional labor.
In a divorce, women's income drops on average by 20%. Divorced men see an average of 30% increase in their income.
Yeah, probably because they don't have to support a wife anymore, and they can focus on their grind and on escalating the ranks.
Divorce, 20% of women find themselves in poverty compared to 11% of men. Let's talk alimony. Alimony has been gender neutral since 1979. It's the breadwinner who pays. In the 1960s, 25% of men were paying alimony post-divorce. Today, that number is 10%. And I know the math is right here, but I'm going to say it anyway. 90% of marriages end with no alimony whatsoever.
It's not only alimony, it's also child custody, which men, all the vast majority of the, in the divorces pay for. But you don't bring that up. It's not only alimony. And you say how alimony has been gender neutral since 1969. Okay. It's just, a little funny to me how when you have to make arguments against men trying to hide the truth, you bring up these dates. But when men tell you women have equal rights as men since 1960 or 1970 or whatever, you never seem to remember that date. Why do you remember the dates that, benefit you, but you don't remember the dates that benefit, the male narrative? Let's keep watching.
90 to 95% of the time that alimony is paid, it was settled out of court, meaning a judge didn't weigh in and didn't order it. In the cases where a judge orders it, there's a large discrepancy between the spouse's income and assets. Short marriages are less likely to get any alimony. Judges are looking at if one spouse sacrificed their career or potential earnings. And so if they didn't...
Yeah, gentlemen, take a guess. What is more likely to happen? A man to get married to a woman who doesn't have a job or a really high income one, or a woman to marry a man who doesn't have a job? Who do you think alimony goes towards in the vast majority of cases? Also, something that I didn't mention about child custody is, it's predominantly paid by men. And the worst part is you never know where that money goes. Like, men wouldn't have a problem paying child custody if it went towards their children. But it can go towards their ex-wife's nails. You never know that.
Alimony wouldn't be awarded. Now let's talk child custody. Studies show that when fathers ask for custody, they get it. Conversely, as fathers
Oh, really?
tend not to ask for custody, they don't get it.
Yeah, gentlemen, you just have to ask for it. You didn't ask, well, that's why you didn't get it. Hey, can I have child custody, please? And the judge says, yeah. No, he says, what is the magical word? And you say, please. And then he says, yeah, you can have it. What is this BS, man? Like, for real. Are you really making the point that men don't get child custody in? Gentlemen, I can't quite remember. Was it 80% of the cases? Was it 90 or 70? A really big number. They don't get it because they just simply didn't ask for it. They forgot, or they were too shy, Yeah, you're full of crap.
Most custody cases are settled out of court. For absolute clarity, most fathers are giving custody to the mothers, not losing custody. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about health, and that will lead me into my last point. Why do women even want to get married if it doesn't benefit them? You know when married women nag their partners? You really going to have that third beer? Babe, I think you need to go get that mole looked at with the doctor. Men seem to hate that. And yet it is the direct reason why married men live longer lives and healthier lives than unmarried men. I've read that men resist marriage because they know that it requires a substantial behavior change on their part. They associate marriage with increased responsibilities and potential financial loss. And yet, those things aren't true. Our culture sets expectations high for women and low for men.
Yeah, that is the biggest lie that you have told in the video so far. It's the absolute opposite.
Getting married has historically brought a large change in how men see themselves and how they behave. If marriage has been a particularly strong signal of change in men's committed behavior, it would explain the stereotype of women pushing for marriage and men resisting. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think. I think that you're mixing two things. You're mixing traditional marriage as the way it was and modern marriages. If we assume that women want to stay in a marriage as it was, years ago, centuries ago, then most of these problems that we are talking wouldn't be up for discussion, because if a woman wants to stay in a marriage and she's actively trying to raise her family and stay in that marriage and make it work, yeah, there are no problems. There is no child custody. There is no, children without parents. There is no alimony, no nothing. But that's the problem. Back in the day, both men and women did benefit from marriage. I have to partially agree with you on that one, that men benefit from marriage. Yeah, both men and women benefit from marriage, but from true marriage that is long lasting, not from what we have today that is just a woman benefiting from breaking up the marriage, right? Like, that's the biggest problem that men have, and I've mentioned this before. Men are not avoiding marriage, they are avoiding divorce. And women are incentivized to get divorced because of womanism, because of how the law works, right? Because child custody goes disgustingly in favor of women. Apparently, because men just don't ask for it. Apparently, that's the reason. But yeah, child custody goes disgustingly in favor of men. Also, alimony goes disgustingly in favor of women, because women just don't get married to men who earn less, and it's just not a good deal for men. And you can forget about the money, you can forget about alimony and whatever. The biggest problem I see is just the mental the sanity loss, the peace loss. That is the problem for men. Yeah, money, you can win back money, but you can't win back your time that you've wasted. You can't win back all the dead cells in your brain because of all the BS that you had to endure. Like, that's the problem. Women don't, most women no longer have this attitude of, let's try and make it work. I will never leave you. I will never cheat on you. Let's try to raise a family. Let's set our differences aside. No, the most common problems now are we just have differences that we can't handle, or the glitter wore off, or I don't know, just the spark isn't there. Like, those are the reasons why women are getting divorced. It's not men who talk this nonsense of, the spark is gone. No, it's women. This is why marriage, and it's not actually marriage, I wouldn't say that marriage benefits women. No, breaking marriage benefits women, and women are incentivized to do it. So I hope this answers your question, madam. I see you did your homework. You read, all the all this information on Google. Good job. I'm actually really thankful that you're not bringing up these facts from your arse. You're actually looking for this. But hey, your whole narrative is a little backwards, honestly. But thank you guys for listening to me rant. Leave me your comments, because I'd like to read you rant as well. And thank you for all. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.